What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with an episode of This Week at Bungie. It's actually something we haven't been covering all that much, given that Bungie have been posting separate blog posts detailing changes for future seasons and things like that, as well as patch notes of course, and so the twabs have been a bit lighter in general, but this week there are a few interesting updates. And so Bungie recap on their massive blog post yesterday talking about changes for Lightfall content that they plan to introduce next season and in the mid-season patch. But on top of that, they talk about the arrival of Grandmaster Nightfalls next week. And they give us a preview of weapon changes, so some weapons that'll be going away at the start of Season 21, and some of the new slots that are going to be filled, and we get teasers for new weapons, including those that come with Strand. But on top of that, we're going to talk a little bit about leaks regarding weapons in the future, so I will give a spoiler alert before that, but interestingly, a lot of the updates and things that Bungie are publishing regarding Season 21 have been confirming some of the recent leaks, so kind of an interesting time for that conversation, but we'll get to it. And so as always guys, I hope you enjoy the video today, and if you do, a rating below really does help us out on the channel. But otherwise, let's get into it. And so the first section of the twab is a pretty big recap of a load of changes that Bungie spoke about in their blog post yesterday. We did make a separate video on that, so if you want to hear about those changes, I'll link that video below. But next, Bungie speak about Grandmaster Nightfalls, and they say Season 20's GM Nightfalls start on April 11th. And those who have yet to earn the Conqueror Seal for the first time will only be able to complete one Nightfall a week. If that's your case, be ready for Proving Grounds and remember to find proper cover in each room. However, for those who have already earned the seal and are gunning to gild it, they'll be able to complete 6 featured Nightfalls as quickly as they like, even in one sitting. And during Season 20, they say, we have 2 additional adept weapons available, the Buzzard, a kinetic adaptive sidearm with awesome perks like kinetic tremors, but also the Swarm, the arc machine gun that's been refreshed with new perks like target lock. And since there are a few changes to hard content with the launch of Lightfall, here's a reminder of how Grandmaster Nightfalls work. And so your power level caps 25 below the activity level. And for Season 20, that means combatants will be 1840, but you will be 1815. Combatants can take more hits, deal more damage, and are quite aggressive. Champions will be abundant, so be sure to have the proper weapons to deal with them. And then there'll be one burn, and that will cause you to receive 25% more damage from a certain element. Also, the 2 elemental surges and overcharged weapons both grant a 25% damage increase. And as always, revives are limited, and after a certain amount of time, darkness will encroach and you won't be able to revive or be revived. So let us know if you'll be jumping into GMs next week, and they say as a final note, there will be adjustments coming in the mid-season 20 patch to update some of the heist battlegrounds. So again, for Mars, they're decreasing how often combatants spawn on higher difficulties in the towers phase. They're increasing the map score multiplier to help players reach score goals without exploits, and adding an additional ammo crate. But other heist battleground changes include reducing the frequency and number of some combatant waves in boss fights, reducing the health of Death Tongue choristers, plus Hive runes will now have the same health on all difficulties, and they'll be thinning out the fallen trip mines in heist battleground on the moon. But moving on, they speak a little bit about weapons, so stuff that's going to be entering the pool and leaving the pool. And they say last week we shared that this is the last chance to earn the adept version of the Trials of Osiris weapon, Whistler's Whim. This kinetic bow is out of rotation until further notice, although you can always get the regular version by focusing engrams with Saint 14. And we don't want you to miss the opportunity to earn weapons that will leave the loot pool once Season 21 starts, so in terms of which ones will go out of the rotation, they break it down. And they say some details are being kept under covers because we don't want to spoil everything, but yes, there are new Strand weapons in the oven. So for weapons leaving, for the Nightfall, Mindbender's Ambition will see its final week in rotation on the 18th of April, with Malicious Birthright seeing the final week in rotation on the 2nd of May. But also the Inquisitor for Trials of Osiris will go away, and the final week for that will be the 9th of May. Plus Whistler's Whim is already out of the rotation. Then there's Iron Banner, where the Wizened Rebuke will go away, and the Hero's Burden. And for competitive, the Rose Hand Cannon will be taken out of the pool at the start of Season 21. But for weapons entering for the Nightfall, we're going to see the return of the Braytech Osprey, and that's a Void High Impact rocket launcher, but also the Loaded Question Fusion Rifle, and that's an Arc High Impact Fusion. Then they tease a couple of new weapons here, so for Vanguard we'll see the Positive Outlook, a Void Precision Auto Rifle. Gambit will get a Strand Linear Fusion Rifle. That'll be interesting. Then with the Crucible, Randy's Throwing Knife will return, and for Trials of Osiris we'll see an Arc Glaive, as well as the return of the Messenger. And interestingly, Randy's throwing knife, as well as the arc glaive, are things that have been spoken about in leaks, so yet more of the recent leaks are essentially being confirmed here by Bungie. And we will talk about more leaked stuff in a couple of moments' time, but I'll give a spoiler warning. Finally though, here, for the Iron Banner, there'll be a Strand fusion rifle. That could be pretty awesome. And we'll see the return of Swarm of the Raven, with competitive seeing a new arc sniper rifle. So Bungie are wetting our whistles a little bit right there, in terms of teasing weapons that we'll see next season. Give us your thoughts about those down below, and we'll speak a bit about some of the supposed leaks in a moment. But if you're looking to catch up on cutscenes from various different seasons, Bungie have now started a cutscene archive on YouTube. And these are kind of full-length videos featuring all of the major cutscenes from given seasons. So they've uploaded Season of the Lost, The Witch Queen, Season of the Risen, Haunted, Plunder, and Seraph. You can check out the links for all of those in the TWAB. But they say almost every cutscene from Destiny 2 should eventually be uploaded, and we're hoping to add 1 or 2 seasons every few months. And so if you're looking to catch up on those kind of story elements in the form of cutscenes, it's cool that they are going to be collected together and published by Bungie moving forward. So share your thoughts about that down below, and again the TWAB is in the description box if you want to check out any of those previous season cutscene collections. Now though, for a final few bits of other news right here. Initially there is a new Twitch Prime drop for Destiny 2, and this one does actually include a unique item, so if you have Prime Gaming you'll be able to access these. And this month it's the Spring Showers exotic bundle, so it includes the Spring Showers emote, but also the Arrow of Time exotic ship, and then the Grey Tiger Shell legendary ghost, the Velvet Intention legendary shader, which is a Twitch Prime exclusive drop, so I believe one of the first items that is completely exclusive to that. And so if you have Amazon Prime, definitely worth setting up to pick up these items, and I'll link the Destiny 2 Twitch Prime page down below. The final thing to mention right here though, does pertain to some leaks for future Destiny 2 content, and as Bungie said in their update about Lightfall yesterday, they do have plans to update more than 15 exotics inside of Season 21. And one of the leaks we've had about Season 21 suggested that a whole bunch of exotic reworks would take place, and it did detail some of those specific changes. Some of the specific exotics that were mentioned correlate precisely with that leak, so I'll link an article with the leaked details about supposed exotic changes, but there's a pretty good chance that they are actually going to be in the game. Connected to that leak though, things get a bit more spoiler heavy right here. And the game post covered these, but there are details on supposed upcoming weapons for the season, including stuff for the dungeon and for Trials of Osiris. So from the article here, according to leaked images, new dungeon weapons are coming in Season of the Deep, and these will be titled under the bracket of Oceanic Dive Gear. And it says we should be seeing a Stasis Waveframe Breach Grenade Launcher. Obviously that's a pretty exciting prospect, but also a Solar Rapid Fire Glaive, and then a Solar Aggressive Machine Gun and a Stasis Aggressive Rocket Launcher. And the article says, just like other weapons in the game, the new dungeon weapons will feature a unique origin trait, which is called Restoration Ritual, and reviving allies or killing enemies with finishers will reload the weapon and ready an emergency reload for the next time the weapon runs out of ammo. That's definitely a pretty interesting concept. We can see as well images which are meant to represent these weapons, so pretty interesting stuff, especially the glaive right there, which is almost this harpoon style weapon. And looking at the shader on those, it's an almost kind of arcology themed look to them, based on the Titan destination, so an interesting possibility. But additionally, it details Trials of Osiris weapons. Again, take all of this with a pinch of salt as they aren't released yet, but apparently there will be a new arc adaptive glaive called Unexpected Resurgence. And according to the leak in the left perk column, they will potentially be able to get auto-loading holster, feeding frenzy, subsistence, tilting at windmills, shot swap, feedback shield, or thresh, with the right perk column potentially containing rampage, surrounded, vorpal weapon, frenzy, impulse amplifier, unstoppable focus, or close to melee. And of course there are a couple of new bonuses there by the sounds of things, so a possible look at upcoming weaponry right there for Season 21. As always though, take leaks with a pinch of salt. Absolutely, this isn't stuff that is confirmed by Bungie yet, but as always it is interesting to take a look, and we'll see in time if indeed these items are released in the game. So share your thoughts on those down below, but for today guys, that's everything we have to speak about in the videos. So as always, I hope you've enjoyed this one, and if you have, a rating below really does help us out. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, and if you want to see more Destiny content, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that I can keep you up to date. But otherwise, thank you as always for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.